So a bunch of you guys have been requesting that I did a backpack tour. Just it's the end of the year, and I guess for the future you would be able to compare like what have changed during the year. As in, if I make one now and then I make one like close to the next new year, then you can compare like over the year what have changed. And I think that's a good idea. So I'll just do it. And yeah, let's get started. So this year is like I'm just gonna tell some story if there's anything to it. So this was my first strange cosmetic, and I used to have freeze cam, fire survivor, and kills on all my strange cosmetics things. And this was, as said, the first one to it, and then I slowly started replacing. So first I had this for all my classes combined. It even have Halloween spells on it, and slowly I started getting for each individual class. It was probably back before I got the polar pullover as well, and started much into the unusual trading things as well. So there's that. I always wanted this, so I just bought it someday. Same with this, but I think that I made sure as well as with this, of course, is that they're clean. So I just wanted that, and then I just want It's like at a certain point, it's like why not have them in your backpack, basically, as just a bit of a collection thing. And I also have a Ellis cap, of course, because same reason. And then I have a tradable Gastier Skibbers from 2009. Even though I started 2012, I've been buying this because I could. So, and I've strangified these two, and this was supposed to be a gimmick before I got the anger on my sniper, which like was after. Like I already had that when I started making videos on YouTube, but be, before that I had this as like a bit of a joke, where I just took it on my sniper, and then it had these parts on which seemed fitting, and that's about that. Then we have this that I haven't really used, but I still wanted to like just for the collection thing again. There's now maybe an opportune time. This is just just things that are usually found in backpacks, of course. So on this page, of course. So that's just achievement items as well, like badges and such. So we're just pretty much the same as the other Halloween hats, these two, or this one in particular. And we have this that I managed to craft. It's like I missed that event, and then I think 2012 or 2013 I managed to actually pick one up and make it myself. And we have this, and these are the maps I actually like. I think this is my five most favorite map of five most favorite maps, or something. I don't know. Like you can look at it, and then it's Man, Manor, and Mountain Lab, because it's pretty much the same map. And then the other three, of course. I think those five maps are probably my favorite maps, if I had to say. Maybe useful for a quiz in the future, or quiz I mean. Then we have a party hat, because everybody pretty much have one if they've been playing for over a year. And then we have this achievement item as well, achievement item. I remember getting these. This was some of my first hats, actually. And then we have these. I spent a good time on pastime just figuring out how to get them and then getting them, of course. So that is a bit of a memory there for me, at least. And we have a Manco cap and a Manco online cap. This was when I became, like a premium player, where I bought I think it was a Wrangler. I brought a Wrangler, and then I got this. And this was just because I realized, oh, you can get a Manco online cap. So I just had to get one. You get this normally with Halloween, you get this with Christmas. I've only given 7 gifts. I have considered to just get it up, but I don't really use it. But it would still be fun to get it up a bit. And we have a duel badge from my first duel, and then apparently I lost it, it says here. So oh wait, that's the most recent probably. I don't know how this works, but my first duel were 6th September. I haven't personally challenged anybody to duels, but people have been challenging me to duels sometimes, so I've just accepted them, and some of the times I just got free wins because they were not that well at playing the game, and they just picked me out thinking I was a noob or something, I don't know. Then we have this is my hire date. This is when I started on the game. I kind of started it in relation to my studies. It's actually a bit of a funny story where at first I didn't want Team Fortress. Like I know for Team Fortress for a while. One of my friends played it. He kept memeing the things, like saying the things spices and engineer and stuff like that. And I found it quite annoying at first. And then when I started playing Team Fortress a year or two later, when we were going together in what would you call it after school? Like the thing you go in after school after you're done with your where you're trying to get I don't know, like a bit like university, but this was something special related to computers. So that's where I kind of got into playing this, because there was some kind of net cafe or whatever you would call it. And then we or not directly that, but it's like we were in the school area or the study area, I guess, and then we had computers there because it was computer related studies. And then every second Friday we could play like computer and such together. And the games that were up for play, like where everybody were playing, was Team Fortress. And then I just decided to actually join Steam and start playing, and that's why I started this state. And we've got a what you would call man vs machine badge, just level 2, and then we have 2 cities. I have not gotten an Australian yet. I think the best I've gotten is one professional killstreak fabricator kit that was for a bat item as well. And I've done these kind of tours, so I've not had much luck there. Then this from Poker Night, same thing as these two. Then I had this just because, again, collector, just have to pick some things up a bit by bit, such like that. I actually donated a bit to Tip of That 2015 because I felt like it. And I was like, wouldn't it be fun, like if you tip in, you get some kind of chance to win some items. Wouldn't it be fun if I won something? Of course I didn't, but it was still a bit funny. And then it supported a good cause, of course, so there's that. Same thing with the, wait, no, that's just pastime early. I thought it was this thing for some reason. Then we have these, and this is just like 2 people who I think it's when you get premium, and then they can pick who like got you to play the game or something. And then there's 2 people who've done that to me. These were some of my first actually class-like thing. I used to use these on all my classes, and that's about it. Kind of a replacer for the Pyrovision, which I decided to get some vintage of just because you could, again. And we've got my strange battery canteen. I haven't actually used it in Man vs Machine since they fixed it, but I still hope that someday they'll be able to add like you can add parts to it, stuff like kills maybe, and maybe it doesn't count like a cosmetic, but then you can buildings destroy it and other things like that. Maybe taunt kills or taunt appearances, I mean. And then we have my spell book, and I really love Halloween, so I've got quite a lot of pages on it, but I wish I could get more, but due to the new systems and stuff, you can't just farm the gifts every now and then. And also I'm missing spells that you can put on your items. I would love to actually get the purple horseshoes now on most of my things. And we have this was like first idea the same here, where I thought then I could use that, you know, like the battery canteen, but no. This got given like when they introduced this system with the spells. And we have Noisemaker for birthday party, and winter one, and a normal canteen. This I actually thought you had to buy a competitive matchmaking pass, and I was like, oh, it's off, and if I start playing competitive at some point for fun, then I would like to actually have gotten it cheaper. But then I figure out after buying it that I think the next day that, oh, you can just, as long as you have your mobile authenticator on it, you don't need this. And then I tried to refund it, but I couldn't get it refunded. And this has been given to me from one of my friends. The long story, I think I've been talking a bit about something there, so just one of my friends giving it to me because I kind of wanted a beta pass, just try it out. And then I played a bit of engineer and got told to switch to soldier or some shit. Was pretty funny. Then we have my soul gargoyle here, which gotten a pretty good solid amount of souls. And then 40 mirage missions completed, so I've completed all available ones, and then done 70 transmutations. Then we just have a tough break. Tough break was, wait, so gunmetal here, of course. Yeah, gunmetal. Just gonna do that. There we go. Gunmetal, tough break, community invasion thingy, and then we have the rubber dog, of course, crack stun zone. Then we get to my well, unusual taunts here, and this is like most of them I've gotten via, you know, during or after Halloween or around there, so there's that. Pretty much should be covered. I wouldn't mind getting a Hellish Inferno of these at some point, and I'm not sure about these 3. I'm not really planning anything there. And I've got a pan. I'm using this in my sniper mostly. I would like to replace it with a golden pan at some point. Not in a rush to get it, but needs to like get the I don't know, meme, whatever you would do with the sniper, where you have 3 unusual effects and a golden pan, and then of course I have 4 because I have the weapon out as well, so or 5 if you count the SMG too. So I kind of want that thing going on. Then we have a Necro Smasher, also strange because you could get Strangifiers. Then we have one of these, just again, this is just mostly collecting things. Then we have my Soldier, and no, Soldier is not my favorite, he's actually my most hated. I put him first because then I have to go furthest back to put in like items I get for the Soldier if I get anything to my collection for Soldier. And he wasn't always here. Scout were here because I wasn't good at Scout and couldn't utilize Scout in a way. So I actually just looked at that recently, and then I decided to swap their positions around because I feel like I'm an okay Scout in a sense. I feel like I don't have the issues I used to have, but I still hate Soldier the most. So he's like getting the backseat here. But we have my rocket launcher, of course. I have done videos showcasing this. I don't think I need to any other thing there. And then we have this, and I actually like the name and the description where in a competition somebody won, and I gave a prize, of course, and then another thing was that it got to keep the name. They wanted to name it and the description. Then we have this code, just my like this is something I prioritize on everybody. They need to have a stat tracker and most likely or you know, like a cosmetic body part that can track your stats for you and keep track of like overall stats, so it's not just per weapon. And of course I've been changing it out a bit, so it's not my lifetime stats or anything. Some of them have more stats than others, of course, of my strange codes and such, so there's that. But I like buildings destroyed because that's also a thing that, you know, gets tracked in the kill feed and such, and I feel like that's an important part to the game. And I'm an NG main, and funny enough, I love destroying buildings. It's like I just love destroying buildings. I don't know why, and I'm an NG main. It's so funny. Then we have all my rocket launches, of course. All of these are strange, and then we have a rocket jumper. Then we have my vintage gunboats because I felt like, why would I have normal gunboats when I can just get some vintage to bump it up a bit? Maybe I haven't specialized kill streak them or something as I could have done if I wanted to, but like to make them glow because these actually glow. But yeah. We also have my man threats here. I've actually flattened 20, but this has been on like where there's pretty much no roof on the map, where it's like on CP orange, I think, where I've done some of these. We have the base jumper, then we have strange secondaries, then we have a festive buff banner here. Just have the various things, and then we have this recently showed in the festivizing thing. And then of course my melee here. This is the one I use the most on Soldier, and I've been doing some taunt kills mostly under the bridges and such, like using it and doing some funny kills there. And I've also used this a bit. Yeah. And I've of course got the taunts here. I'm not planning to get any of these in unusual at all. And then we have a Halloween set for him that I feel like is pretty okay on Eid. Then we have the brain maggot and the grub grenades because they fit good together. And I felt like Soldier's a maggot or some shit, I don't know. Zipper face from 2012, I think, where I started the first Halloween I was attending to. I got one of these and I just thought it was funny, I don't know. And I did actually manage to, I don't know why these have been swapped, it just happens sometimes, but then I also managed to get these at some point, again, like same with the Hale's Mask thing. And then of course these are the Voodoo Curse Souls that I actually managed to get all of. So that's also something. Then we have my strange unusual weapons for Demoman. This is also something I've recently done on all my classes, moved up my most important items to like the very front of the class to like mark them. And then we have this is also one of these competition things that we're given a prize for, and of course it got to keep the name and stuff. And then we have my stat tracker for demo, and then of course all the strange things here, and then also some of the boots and a sticky jumper. And we've got strange shields. I wish this was strange though, but now it's like so bad anyway, so I don't think I'll ever be using it even with a strange one. That's another thing I don't use non-strange. Then we have the bottle here, and I actually recently decided to name this after a World of Warcraft item because it just, like, in my mind it just clicked. Wait, it's an axe. Frostmourne, no. Shadowmourne, the thing that Death Knights, Paladins, and Warriors could get in Icecrown Citadel. So I just... And then I made a little twist with, like, all your souls, I mean heads, will be mine, and then it's also reference to like the Shadowmourne, Frostmourne thing where they take the soul. So yeah, and we have like this is pretty nice as well. I actually like this, but they've nerfed it so much, so I don't know. I used to like it a very lot. Funny for me for some reason. I don't know. And we have my old Islander because I used this before I got this in Strange. Got a Strangifier for it at some point. So yeah. Then we of course have the melee here, and then this from I wanted to do demo pan like where I had the glasses and then a pan and then I think a shield or something, just for fun. And then I kind of needed these, but then I got them, and then it wasn't like a good idea anymore. But then I already had them, so I didn't really do much with it. But I was a new player back then. That's also why I got the Poker Knight thing, because I wanted some extra items. So again, it was before that I really got into the game a lot. So we have my Demoman Taunts here. Recently also bought this one. It's actually funny. I would like this with some green effect, I think, to go with my isotope thing here and green energy. Just gonna do that. And again, I really like the thing with the headless horseman thingy. So I've got a cape and the pocket one. And we of course have this from my recent Halloween unboxing. And then again, I just really like Halloween items, so I've got some bunch of them in my collection here, or at least the front pages. Then we have my scout things, of course my scattergun here, and then my unusuals, and then stat tracker again. And then we've got my guns for scout. And it's actually funny, I kinda like the Force of Nature, but it's also a bit of a lame weapon in a sense. It's like, it does so much damage, but it's still funny to use. I don't know how to explain it. This one, if I recall, is doing a bunch of damage, which is sometimes not really fair. But I mean, again, Scout needs to have some impact. It's like, how else would you deal with a soldier? I mean, it's annoying for a 125 HP class, but whatever. Then this actually used to be my favorite scout weapon. This was where I really got into playing scout, and then they nerfed it, and then I just were like, oh well, not gonna play scout anymore. But then I got the unusual scattergun and started a bit again. So yeah, of course I also got these. Actually been waiting a long time for this, but I still haven't completed all the achievements. I just wanted to complete the achievements to again do them. It's a bit of a collection thing. Then we've got my secondaries for scout here, and a bat saber that I'm usually using as well. And then of course a lot of these things here, just his melee ones. And then this from that's the other Poker Knight game, the newer one, that I also decided to get just because I had all the things from the previous one, and I kind of wanted to use these when I actually got that game as well as some of the other things like the knife for heavy that I'll get to next. But we've got all the scout taunts here, and then this, like Scout has such unique quotes with this. It's so good. I really like that. And as when I got this, I actually used it on all my classes, but trying to run around a bit. But tried the scout first, and then I realized he had unique quotes for it. So for me, this is a scout item. It's a bit funny though. Then of course we got same with the other things, and this just so happened to be voodoo cursed. It's not something I went for. I just crafted it like that, and then I decided to just keep it. It's the same with all but the engineer, I believe. Then we have my heavy unusuals here. I think I need no introduction to these really. Like I've already covered it in other videos a lot, so there's that. And then we have my strange stat tracker for heavy here. All my miniguns as well, and of course this was gotten from again Poker Knight, and it have exorcism on because I thought, oh, maybe I can someday put a Strangifier on if they keep going so all out with them. And then it might be useful, but of course now I have this, so yeah, there's nothing more to say to that. I wouldn't use this, so yeah. And we have my secondaries here. Not sure why the shotgun is before the sandwich, but very well, we'll just do that. I guess it's because shotguns is technically like stock weapon, so I had it there, but whatever. Then we have all my fists and gloves and stuff like that here. And then the taunt wavy. I love this taunt actually. I'm not sure what effect would go good with it, but Screaming Tiger I could imagine. And then of course the knife here that I used on heavy. Like when I were looking for cosmetics, I used this with the weight room warmer and some hat. I can't remember what hat exactly, but I think it was a normal Dragonborn helm. Then of course I've got again same drill with the other as with the other things. And here we have my medigun. This is just, it's not like I play CSGO or anything. My cousin does, and or have at least, and a lot of other people. And I've heard about the unusual work in there, and then I decided to make this a joke. By the way, if somebody were interested in renaming this, there is a thread up on my post thing where you could submit a suggestion, because I'm very likely to change it for something that's good instead of just this meme thing. And it doesn't follow the rules because I have rules. It needs to be in one word, the name, as in it needs to be a one word. It needs to actually be a name. It can't be something like Medigon. That's like in two words. It needs to be combined, even though you could put it together like that. It shouldn't. It's just a lot of my strange and unusual weapons have names where you can just look at and see, oh, it's something like that. Okay. So that's basically that. Then we have my medic hats. This is actually a one of one. The other one got deleted either by backban or just deleted, as far as I could see, and this just one day surfaced on the market and I picked it up, as in the Steam community market. Then I got this because usually I use the polar pullover, but then it's like one of my friends were always using a beacon complaining about not being able to see the medic's face, and then I was like, that's a good point. I want to cover my medic's face because I don't give a crap about that. So I got a beacon. It fits very well with like this, so it looks a bit like a plague doctor in a way. But the polar pullover was more like a thing because I could, and then I didn't have to buy a private misc to him. So there's that. And we of course got my stat tracker for medic, and as you can see, I actually love killing people. I have more kills than assists on my medic code since I've gotten it, of course, and that just pretty much points towards what kind of medic I am, doesn't it? It's kind of something. I mean, it's probably the item that I got the best ratio on, because usually you don't get that many assists, but you get a bunch of kills, so there's that at least. We've got all my syringe guns. These are mostly meant for combat medicing, but I usually just use the crossbow now because may as well. It does a bunch of burst damage in a sense that you can do a lot of damage and can crit 2 and do 225, so it's pretty nice overall. I used to use only this because I thought it always gave you movement speed, but apparently you need to have it out or something, so I'm not using that anymore. And then of course these two got festivized, and then I've got all the mediguns actually in that sense, but confused me a bit because I'd moved this up here. Then the melees and the taunts. And then we have a Haunted Second Opinion because I liked again the quotes. Like some of the Halloween quote things are a bit funny to me, so yeah, decided to get one of these. And then I actually like this one. It kind of, I guess it kind of fits the kind of style I'm going for with things, so I still got it just to have it. And then just wings because again I could and felt like it would. Yeah, it's actually a set, that's why I got it. That makes sense to fit together. I think the way this looks is actually a bit like maybe Diablo, where you see the angels and they don't really have a face, but something like that. Maybe, I don't know, would fit with the wings as well, other than they have like tendrils as wings in a sense. I don't know, don't ask me. And again, same drill with the others. This actually got renamed. I used to have it called Shadowfall, but like it was together in one, but it's still kind of rule breaking. But then users kind of joined the competition because I wanted to kind of link it up with this, as I'm gonna get to in a bit. So these two were up to rename together, and it had to like have a mix or fit together and stuff. And then instead of calling it some things, it's like Ukrainium, as in uranium, but like in your cranium in a way, so it's a pun in a way. And then the description is nuclear fission rifle guarantees uranium inside your cranium, therefore the name. And I just really like that. I actually like kind of went into it a bit and asked if like just in a way a sense a bit like cutting off some of the description a bit, so it sounded a bit better in my opinion. And then we kind of customized it a bit and figured it out together, so that was really fun. Again, I also gave away a prize for that, and of course I wouldn't put anything that he didn't like wanted to take the credit for in a sense on it, so there's that. And yeah, it's actually funny. You can look at all the stars I've got on the Concealed Killer collection. A bit funny. Then we have my SMG, of course. This is the original name I gave it. It have not been up for anything like that, so I just thought it's funny how sometimes the inaccuracy on stuff like this, the revolver and the pistols, just sometimes where it can just blow off to the side a bit. So I call it twister because it's like you can hit something that you aren't aiming on sometimes. So it's funny to me in that sense. Then of course we have my anger and this here again. This was also up for naming in that sense. So nuclear warfare to fit a bit with the uranium theme, and then a headband that's used to retain nuclear energy from the reaction of a fission rifle, which it says here down here that it's a nuclear fission rifle. So kind of that link up there, and I kind of liked it. Of course, my hats can have multiple things. That's the thing with my hats, but weapons just need to be one-worders. So there's that there. And of course, I have all of these sniper guns. I actually didn't really get to use this much, but yeah, I actually went over to this, and then I went over to this, like from this, and then started at this. So this came quickly after this actually. Then I actually really like the Huntsman. It's like nowadays I'm actually quite bad at it, but when I were bad at the game, for some reason it was amazing to use. It's like, oh, I just get all the kills, like headshots here, and I used to play medieval a lot. That's how I actually a lot of the like got into solo playing the game. Also, I had that internet cafe thing, thing that I was talking about earlier. So, I mean, this is kind of the thing that made me end up playing solo a lot of the time and actually learning to play the game alone. Just playing medieval. I also have a lot of time on Demo Night, which looks like Demo Man, on my plate, but still. And I actually used to have the normal Huntsman, but after like a while, I think during Gunmetal or maybe even Tough Break, I just decided to get myself a festive one and then just transfer the stats because I could do that now. So I decided to just do it. Yeah. And then of course I have the other sniper rifles, and then this, and then of course these here. A bit like also with the scout where I had the bread thing, and I also have the bread zapper of course when we get to spy. For some reason this icon is messed up in the backpack, I don't know what to say. So yeah. But that's the sniper things. Then I of course have the sniper taunts, and then of course again from poker night thing. And then again some things here. Just because this was, I think that there's also the ostrich. I think I have that way back in my backpack. I don't know why this is actually and not the ostrich, but whatever. I haven't really bothered much there. But this is just the nice Halloween sniper things. Not that I'm actually using any of them. I used to use all the Halloween sets on all of the classes before I actually got some solid cosmetics. So there's that though. Then of course my pyro thing, and I don't know if anybody have noticed this, or I've probably talked about it before, but the whole idea here is that I actually reset my shotgun at, I think it was at 2,000 or 3,000 kills or something, and then I decided I'm only gonna use it on the pyro, and then I added pyro specific parts in a way with the burning player kills and airborne enemy kills in a sense, and then I decided this is just for my pyro now because I love running a shotgun on pyro. And of course I have these two here. And my stat tracker, so as you can see, considering playing pyro, I think you could also see it with sniper here with the, I don't think I actually hovered over it, but playing a bunch of sniper. Of course the headshot kills doesn't really line up with the kills because headshots were able to be added after I had actually, started gathering things on it and I didn't reset it. But it's still a bunch of headshot kills compared to not tracking from the start. I think there's at least missing 5 to 1,000 probably headshot kills from it in that sense, but I don't know. I couldn't say. So here we of course have all my other pyro things. I used to love the degrees, as you can probably see here. But now I just went over to this because, unusual weapon. But it used to be my favorite pyro weapon here. And then this and shotgun. So shotgun was pretty much my primary, and then, yeah. So we have these, and then I've also got some flare guns that aren't really used that much, as you can see. And then pyro melee, which is pretty much just this and this. And then this is not good any longer at all. It's like you can just use your stock and it's better, I think. It's like more damage and such, but still. But these two are the only real pyro weapons in that sense, because this one-shot zappers and this just gives you extra speed. And I of course also got the pyro taunts again, poker night thing. Then I actually like dragons. It's my favorite, I guess, animal or fantasy creature, whatever you would call it. So I really like that idea in Pyro a lot. And it also fits Pyro a bit because he is in a form of suit and or suit. I don't know what you would call a suit. I tried my best here, but and then he sometimes acts a bit like an animal or like instinctive or she. I don't know. Maybe a he. I don't. That's the thing Valve does. They have called it both he, she, it. I don't know. It's probably a he. I don't know. Again, don't ask me. I don't know why I brought this up. Don't ask me. Okay. Okay. It's like politics. You know. I don't know. I don't even know about politics. I'm not that. Never mind. Anyways, we have these horns here, and by not knowing a lot of politics, I mean, now that I brought it up, silly me, is that I don't care much about it in general because it's always like my philosophy with that is that it's a lot of the time it's just like, oh, you should pick me because that guy is shit and vice versa. That's I guess that's a bit why, but that's probably just me. I'm a bit weird sometimes, you know. Then I've got of course this setter set, and then I like to mix up the wings because then it's like a dragon with wings in a sense, and then not so happy with the feet, of course. So yeah. Then same story with Halloween here, and of course this is kind of the same story too as I've been over, and then I've got these two, this from the recent unboxing and this just because, again, really like it in a sense. It's a gargoyle, of course, so yeah. Then we have my spy things, and I actually recently redescribed this because on my backpack.tf I had added a note where it said the description here, but I figured this would be more directing towards that it's actually from Dota 2 this is a reference to. So yeah. Then we of course got this with my most hated effect in the game. Because like it's more like this kind of hate that it's so overused. It's like the typical witchman effect. And it's funny, it looks good with my weapons and smoking and stuff, but I still hate the effect. It's more like some personal grudge thing against that effect. And the things it stands for, I don't know. And we've got my stat tracker for Spy, of course. You can clearly see I play a lot of Spy here. So there's that. And then, of course, these in case I decide to probably switch this out at some point. And then I would have to have smoking and reorbiting fire to switch up depending on the hat I can get. And then of course my spy taunts here, my watches. I actually consider this a stock watch in a sense, and I've also moved it up, same with the Zapper. Just because it feels like a stock upgrade even though it's not in a sense. I just really like the mechanic. It should be the stock mechanic in my sense that if you don't move it can recharge and you're always invisible. I just like the philosophy about that, I guess, or what you would call it, that you can always be invisible. It's more like the thing that you can if you want, and that's a lot of the things with me as well. It's like I want the option to do what I want in a sense, and this watch allows me to play like that. Even though the Deathbringer is way superior, and I've been using that a lot in the past, but this just feels better, and especially because this wasn't in Strange at first, and the Deathbringer was. But this just feels way nicer to use, even though this is way better, of course, so there's that. And then of course my bread zapper. I do have the other zapper here with a lot of zaps on. And I've got an ambassador, and I did reset this. I used to have critical kills on it instead of headshots, but then I decided to reset and put headshots on it instead. So yeah, just another thing there. And then I haven't really used it much since though, but yeah. And then we of course got, this used to be so strong, but I don't really use it anymore at all, as you guys can see. I may actually do an episode with the ambassador at some point, but I don't know. And then of course my spy knives here. If this was Strange I could have liked that, but now I've got this, so I would never use this even in Strange, I believe. And this is basically just a reskin of this, where this is also one of my more favorite knives in a sense, but yeah, just I don't know, it felt a bit easier that you didn't have to decide your disguise or when to switch disguises or sometimes forget. Then we have the red tape recorder, which is funny to annoy engineers with. I actually have been doing that for a bit, just running around, not killing the engineer, just torturing him. Like, again, it's very much me being a hypocrite with this because I'm an NG main, right? I don't know what's wrong with me, it's just funny sometimes, I don't know. Even when I'm an engineer I like torturing other engineers, I don't know why, don't ask me. And of course we've got this because this came out before this, and then it was a bit funny how it like counted seconds, so had to have that and drag it up. And of course I had to have it because I have all, well, unlocks in Strange, and that was my first collection, like big collection goal thing, to have that. again with the, you know, the poker night thing. And this used to be my spy set where I had the Dashian and this, as well as I think I had the Party Phantom, non unusual of course, or the shades thing that I showed earlier to cover it completely up. So there's that. I used to use that, but nah, no more. I still use this recently, but you know, went over to this just to have actually dual effect on spy. This, I need to get this in unusual at some point. I want to get a 72s because it's probably the most themed item in the game, but it's gonna be expensive. I have considered to unusualify for it, or try to, because I have had a bit of luck with that, if you guys recall. And a lot of unluck actually, I'm just gonna say that. Again, poker night thing, Halloween things, know the drill. And then finally, to my engineer. And first up on the engineer, we have the pistol, of course. I kind of did re-describe it a bit because it was so short, so I just went into this is a one-of-a-kind pistol owned by Archimo. It's his favorite item. If you actually check my backpack up on backpack.tf or just on Steam, you can see that it's not tradable, but you actually can't see it any place in-game at all, which I actually really like in a sense. I don't know why it makes me so happy. I wouldn't actually care if it said not tradable, but it not saying it actually makes me very happy. Don't know why again. And then we have this wrench, of course, that I've called. Like this is also, both of these are World of Warcraft references, and this is also a reference to Deathwing in a sense, where it's like that dragon where he tries to do the cataclysm. So, and the I do believe my gun is on fire is a reference to Spy saying I do believe I'm on fire. Now we also have my polar pool over here, and all my smoking items I've actually of darkness on the end, just because the thing is, for me smoking is more like that's not actual smoke, because actual smoke is white, but because it's like some sort of black like smoke, as in if you smoke, I mean it's usually white what I've seen other people smoke. I actually don't really like the thing with smokers is that I'm afraid to ask them if they could walk away if they're standing close to me, and then I just have to deal with it. So I've had some bad experiences with smokers in the past, but it's funny when my favorite effect is smoking, right? But for me it's more like a cloud of darkness is what I'm trying to say. And then maybe need to change the description because that's a bit too edgy for me to compare to how I'm actually in a sense. And then of course I have all the things with the smoking where you can see here, like same with all the other things where it's like off darkness and then infused with the essence of darkness. Then we of course have my stat tracker for engineer. The interesting thing here is I actually removed my taunt kill appearances or stuff like that because I felt like forced to taunt after every kill, and I want to get away with that habit so I could play the game more in a sense, as in not die while taunting or such like that. It didn't happen that much with engineer though, because I was usually around my sentry, so and I usually killed the guy, and since he was nearby my sentry nest, then he were a lot of the time alone trying to flank, and then it kind of went well. But sentry kill assist actually counts, but sentry kills doesn't. So I've been quite aggressive with my engineer. And then I've also added a spy skill part because you know engineers kill spies often, so there's that too. Then my engineer taunts here, of course. And my and my PDA. I may actually rename this at some point, but it just feels so fitting. And then I built that so good for me. And then of course my gun is here of choice. And then we go to the stock gun here. This is like the replace. It's kind of to track stats on until I can get an unusual gun that's a black skin for my engineer, in case they come out with it the next collection or something. And I actually traded up for this myself to get it battle scarred. As you can see, it's like this grade, what is it called, freelance grade. So you have to trade up with the stat clock civilian grade items, so I did that. And then of course I've got this because I'm a collector. I should actually use it some more, but I don't really get too much use of it because people have some opinions on it, even though I would love if they removed the loose medigun charge and the cloak, and then just give it back the penetration thing or whatever. A bit like a, again, Bison shotgun maybe would be nice. And yeah, of course these are the guns that I prefer to use, but yeah. Then I have this because I did use that strategy back when Wrangler and Rescue Ranger were very strong and you had to use that as engineer. That's also some of the time where I got a lot of the taunt kill appearances, or what you would call it. And then of course I got this. Again, not much progress on it because I have other guns that I like to use, and in my sense this is kind of a upgrade to stock. Just my sense there. Just because I'm usually good at hitting with it. And of course I've got some Wranglers here. This is mostly for man vs machine when I played that a bit. And then this was the one I had before, but of course I would change over to this in a sense. So I would be using this now if I were still using it. So yeah. Then a short circuit. Just I kind of hoped again this is the same with as well here. Even though this is not the exorcism, I hope Strangifiers for these items comes out at some point. So there's that there. Then we have the Lurkermorph again, Poker Knight thing. Then we have my Doomslinger. This was the first item I made not tradable, followed by the pistol a lot later. This was way before I got the Polar Pullover, and way before Gun Metal. A lot of people kept adding me to ask if I was selling it, so I just decided to make it not tradable. Then we've got just a bot killer wrench here. I use this for man vs machine, but now that I especially have the unusual wrench, I wouldn't even use this just for the robots destroy track. An addition thing to that is that it doesn't track sentry robots killed, or what you would call like when you sentry kill a robot, so it's only pretty much robot spies and such. Jack used to be my favorite, and honestly the way I play engineer this would be way better. It would be a certain upgrade, especially the sense that sometimes I don't even care about removing the zapper, and the damage penalty doesn't really matter either. I just want that faster sentry and slow repair rate. Doesn't really matter that much either with my playstyle a lot of the time, or at least I would be able to swap to this to just play more aggressive when I were given the chance, but since it's not unusual, no. And then Southern Hospitality, sentry kills was added to that at some point, and yeah. Then I were over this, and then of course my two mining lights here. The reason why they are here and not up here is because this is my main engineer loadout thing for it, and these are secondary. Like I'll probably switch between them, but that's why they are not directly on the front. And then of course I have festivizers here again to mix up, and also before I got this it were to like combine, so I had both effects without having all class hats on. That's also a big reason to having these, because I kind of want to also have for my engineers in private, even though I'm only using this combination on engineer, so yeah. Then we have this used to be my hat on engineer, together with this, and one of these, of course the original one I had of these was called the Plan B or something, and or Plan B, I don't know, and I gave it away at 100 subs, but I kind of missed having them just in case I needed them or something, I don't know, and then I bought some other ones, but it's not the same of course. It's not like Archimo's first cosmetic. It's not like it have history or sentimental value or anything. And I also have this. This was for like a Halloween costume. I wanted to just run around with this and the smoking polar pullover at some point. But I did like, I think during Invasion maybe, or no, maybe that Invasion like Halloween thing. I can't recall. I honestly can't. No, yeah, maybe Invasion. Maybe not gonna put anything there. It's just, and it was for a Halloween at some point as well, I think, where I wanted to get it, so I got it during the invasion. I don't know. Again, don't ask me. It's just things that I'm assuming here. And then I actually kind of like the 10,000. I may actually just this could probably look good together, I guess. But then of course I don't have any stat tracker there. And then again, my engineer wears his overalls, and I don't really like him wearing overalls in that sense, or like the overalls can be seen. I more like him having this jacket on in a sense. And then of course I've got some Halloween items here just for him, and this is like to use with the gunslinger in a sense, just, you know, total metal engineer. And then this was actually the one that I got given when I opened my Halloween thing box, that Halloween with the carnival. So it's actually funny that I got an engineer one to use. And this is from my recent Halloween unboxing, of course. And then we've got again some more Halloween things. We've been over this. Then this, that at some point I may be giving away. I don't know. I may sell it. I don't actually know yet. Who knows? Who knows? And this is my team captain with smoking, because I had to have that. I actually used it on the heavy. I have considered going a different set with heavy again, but then I'll have to put in some effort. That's why I'm still keeping it around instead of maybe thinking of raffling it away or selling it. And I think I wouldn't probably sell this. If I were gonna get away with this, I would probably raffle it away to my viewers at some milestone. But I have no plans of doing that so far because I may go back to using it on heavy because I originally bought it for the heavy. Also because it's colored, black rimmed or like the hat itself is black on the heavy, so I didn't like you can't paint it, so distant lack of hue wouldn't work. That's why I went for it for the heavy. And of course we've got these, and again this is just also in case I want to make an episode without using any unusual hats, then these works well. I can mix them up as I choose, I guess. And then this was showcased together with the Thread Alert doing one of my unusual taunt episodes, because this and Thread Alert both have innate effects, and then you get the dual effect on them, like the normal effect they have normally as non-unusual, and then you have an unusual effect on top of it. Then these are random drops, I usually just move them like this, and then this is items that I'm gonna scrap. We're gonna get there later. This is for the Q competition. It's gonna end the 5th next, like during the year we are entering, 2017, of course. I'm gonna close the thread, and then I'm gonna do that special picking a winner with unboxing as I was talking about. We also have, this is the parts I wanted to add to my battery canteen, and so I can check up if they can actually be added, if they do, make an update at some point where they say they fixed it, or who knows. Then I would like to check up, of course. Then I've got some festivizers here, and you know what? I'm not gonna use a lot of these, at least, so I'm gonna give away 5 of these for sure. Especially because I have used the festivizer. And I'm also gonna show you some things, because you can say show stock here, and then you can see the stock, and then you can also see my achievement like items a bit here, that just in case somebody were wondering there. But there should be a link below, just 5 festivizers for anybody who's still hanging on. And then we've got my key and metal page. I usually have 10 keys lined up here when I have 10 keys, and then metal, and then these usually should be on this page. This should be my trading page, but since the unboxings and stuff, and also because I'm gonna unbox 50 weapon crates, I want to fill it up here and here, just so they're directly on the pages to see, a bit easier overall. So that's why these are here right now. And I actually got 2 of these now. They're both minimal wear, and of course they're both for sale. I think currently I'm asking $240 for one, and one of them actually looks way nicer than the other. I'm just gonna take a look. I think this is the orangey one, and this is the this is the orangey one, yeah. The magazine, when you're like inspecting it, is scratched on this one, but this one looks almost, of course from this and the scratches here, it looks way better on the magazine, like when you open it there. I did buy this on the Steam Community Market. It was up there rather cheap, and I just thought, okay, somebody's gonna buy that because it's listed as a non-strange price, and then may as well pick it up and then sell it to somebody proper. I don't know. So I'm kind of the pistol pimp, I guess you could call me, or tell me by, I don't know. I actually just have something for pistols, and all of them are for sale, of course, because they're spare pistols. Then I have this cool one. This is factory new. It actually have, like, if float were a thing on Team Fortress, this would probably be almost completely perfect, because it have no scratches at all. And I guess maybe, I don't think that's a scratch, but the thing is, it's just a bad skin I don't like, and the effect doesn't match at all. So that's why I'm only selling it for 420 keys. 420 blazed. Man, I should probably. Then I would have to lower these to 210, and then together they give 420. That would be a joke there. Nah. This I got this as like doing a few trades to sell my Mega Strikes Conga. I got like a soldier taunt that I then sold for this, and of course I got some pure on the side, so that's why I've got this. And this is the gun that I also talked about in my Dream Wrench, where I ended up buying it because my friend, or newly friend at that time, well, I guess we've been friends for a while, yeah, because I would be willing to borrow keys as well if that came to it. I think we've been friends for a pretty good long while then, actually. stuff just mixes up in the past, sometimes. But yeah, I kind of thought about borrowing the keys, but then it's like she also wanted to sell this, and then I decided to just give a good price for this. Or at the time it was a good price. Now it's like a total shark. I mean, back then it wasn't. I mean, I could probably have sold it for 600 keys. I even had a buyer to that, like back then. But then the guy had to cash out because of IL issues a bit later. Like I was like, yeah, just get all the other items you want, and the person did. But I could have sold that for 600 keys then. I think there's a lot on the chat on the trade that I still have open with this, but yeah, there's a lot of memories attached to this. And if it wasn't because I actually kind of wanted a golden pan and that I had an offer of a golden pan on my hot one, then I would never sell this. I would just keep this because it have a lot of sentimental value and such. And it's actually perfect. The green matches very well with the black dahlia, and then it's also pretty solid looking skin, as in like factory new. It's perfect. It's strange, it have all the things. It's a triple jackpot, like my very own pistol that I'm using. A bit like this, even though it's like it's factory new. It's strange and it's unusual, but it's still on a bad skin. And in my opinion, Black Dahlia is the best skin in the game currently. So it's just, yeah, I would only get away with like only get like only sell this if I ended up getting golden pan for it, pretty much. So there's that. Then I've got these because at a time I had some other pistols, and then I had a bunch of these just lined up for those pistols. Or well, it's more like one pistol, and then I also had a minigun and various other things that I've sold in terms of unusual weapons. And then I offered if they wanted to get a festivizer together with it, and then I used these two for like the trade to have it there so that they're listed as part of the trade. Then of course we got my scrap page here where I just scrap these weapons, and then I've got some description text because due to the recent sale on the Manco store, they were very cheap, and then I picked some insanely cheap up from the market for like 0.10 euro or something, like completely low. That's also why I redescribed some of my items, and then I thought having a bit of extra could come handy. And then usually I use this, but I thought I am a collector. I guess now that it's given freely to me and I don't have to go out of my way, and it is an untradeable item, I may as well keep it. And then I don't know if I'm gonna use this to something. Then I've got some giftables, and you can actually not use the not tradable ones. Funny enough, like you can't both ones. It's because you kind of have to. You kind of like the thing is, it's after I think they changed the not tradable thing that these things became unusable, or like gift not tradable, like where you couldn't give not tradable items. So I don't know, don't ask me. A bit confused why these are bugged in that sense. And then we have these, which is I think from previous Christmases I've got, and I've used some of these to actually craft my make my weapons not tradable. And then I've got one of the glitch kill streak kits here. Like the thing is, when you crafted these back when the bug was active or such, and it have actually been active 2 times. The other time it were when you unboxed them, but they didn't have anything assigned to them, so they were just like blank, so you could assign them to everything, like everything actually, even like taunts, hats, metal, keys, stuff like that. Very, very odd in a sense. Then I have this in case Australian Jack came out, but I don't actually know anymore that much because I do have my unusual wrench. This was before I had my unusual wrench. This is for my unusual shotgun if I get that at some point, and this is for the Eureka effect if it comes in strange, or if a strangifier comes out for it, then I have it ready. And I've got my gunslinger collection here. I used to love the gunslinger, but a lot of mad soldier mains that just tried to have fun rocket jumping and such got mad at me for using the gunslinger a lot of the time, or just like soldiers just complaining, and then I just decided to not really use the gunslinger. That's also why I developed my playstyle as engineer, just in general, being an aggressive engineer, playing as if I have the gunslinger even though I have not, and then I can adapt to the game. And this is actually the pan that I got from like you could get what's called Left 4 Dead 3. So this is the pan I got from that, I think. And then this is something I bought because I wasn't, like, this was back in 2012 I think, where I just bought it because I didn't know that you could get it, or it wasn't available at that time because it was the Mirasmus thing, and the previous wasn't available there if I recall. I can't remember. I actually can't remember. I just actually didn't think I could get them, and then I only thought it was Lakeside that you could get items from. So I think that's the story actually there. And then we're just gonna skip some pages. This is for again the picking a winner for this unusual at some point. So there's that, and then nothing for a lot of pages here. Then we've got bunch of random Halloween things here that it's actually funny. I wanted to use this in one of the craft things, but then I couldn't. And I don't know, this is just some of the more normal, like I wanted to kind of have all of them, but this is just the ones I have. And then yeah, I actually wanted all the bird heads for some reason, so I think I actually managed to get that, but I'm not sure. And oh yeah, I got this too, but it's not Halloween restricted. Yeah, got that recently, I think, from doing the Erasmus crafting, and then I also got some of these here from it. These were supposed to be crafted down, actually, so that's why they're there. And then I've got some Eternal Ruins just to have them again. And then we get to my crates here. And then on the very last page I have some of, like, some various crates here. Just one of each here, so there's no duplicate crates here. And then all my achievement weapons that I still own. I think that's all. So I mean, that pretty much covers it. I think this is gonna be a very long video because I've just been rambling, but I hope you guys enjoyed regardless. And as said, the little raffle thing with the festivizers will be below. And I wish you a good new year, and then we'll just see each other in the new year, I guess. So have a good time. See you next time.